Imagine a place where kings were seen as gods, where giant pyramids rose from the desert, and where the people believed they could live forever after death. This place was ancient Egypt, a land of power, beauty, and deep mystery. For over 3,000 years, this civilization flourished along the banks of the Nile River, creating art, knowledge, and traditions that still amaze us today. From medicine to astronomy, architecture to writing, the ancient Egyptians were far ahead of their time. In this video, we will explore their secrets, how they built the pyramids, how they read the stars, how they healed the sick, and how their ideas still live on in the modern world. Ancient Egypt began with the Nile River, the longest river in the world. It runs from deep in Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. Each year, the river would flood, leaving behind black, rich soil that was perfect for farming. Because of the Nile, Egypt became one of the earliest and most successful farming civilizations. People grew wheat, barley, onions, lettuce, and more. They raised animals and built homes close to the water. The Nile was their source of food, water, transport, and trade. It was even considered a god, and they worshipped it as a giver of life. The river didn't just help them survive. It gave them time to think, build, and create a complex society that became one of the greatest in human history. The ancient Egyptians are known for building the pyramids, the most famous structures in the world. These huge stone monuments were made without modern machines, yet they still stand today. The most famous is the Great Pyramid of Giza, built over 4,500 years ago for the pharaoh Khufu. It was made from over 2 million stone blocks, each weighing as much as a car. Some blocks were brought from quarries over 500 miles away. How did they move such heavy stones? Some experts think they used sleds, ramps, and hundreds of workers, but we still don't fully know. That's part of the mystery. The pyramids were built as tombs, eternal homes for the pharaohs. They believed the king's soul would rise to the sky and join the gods. The pyramid helped guide his soul and protect his body. The ancient Egyptians studied the sky carefully. They looked at the sun, moon, planets, and stars, not just for beauty, but to help them understand time, farming, and religion. They created one of the world's first calendars, with 365 days in a year. This helped them know when the Nile would flood and when to plant crops. They noticed that the bright star Sirius appeared in the sky just before the flood, so they saw it as a message from the gods. Many of their temples and pyramids were built to line up with the sun or stars. For example, in Abu Simbel, sunlight shines deep into the temple on 2 special days each year, February 22nd and October 22nd, lighting up a statue of Pharaoh Ramses II. These dates marked his birthday and the day he became king. For the Egyptians, the sky wasn't just above them. It was part of their spiritual world. They believed the stars were gods watching over them. Ancient Egyptian doctors were some of the first real medical professionals in history. They wrote down treatments for many illnesses, using plants, surgery, and even magic. One of the oldest medical books in the world is the Ebers Papyrus, written around 1550 BC. It includes over 700 remedies for problems like toothaches, stomach pain, cuts, and even mental illness. Egyptian doctors understood how the body worked. They knew about the heart, liver, and brain. They could set broken bones, treat infections, and remove tumors. But they also believed that spirits and curses could make people sick. So, they used spells, prayers, and amulets along with medicine to protect and heal the body and the soul. Their hospitals were often connected to temples, where priests and doctors worked together. They saw health as a gift from the gods, and healing was a sacred job. The Egyptians invented a beautiful and complex writing system called hieroglyphs. These were small pictures that stood for words or sounds. They wrote on papyrus, a type of paper made from river plants, and carved hieroglyphs into stone walls. Writing was sacred and powerful. Only trained people called scribes were allowed to learn it. They worked in temples, palaces, and government offices. They kept track of food, taxes, laws, and history. Without them, we would know almost nothing about ancient Egypt today. One of the most famous discoveries was the Rosetta Stone, a large rock with writing in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs. It helped scholars finally decode hieroglyphs in the 1800s. Egyptian writing was not just for records, it was also art. Tombs were covered with texts from the Book of the Dead, a guide for the soul in the afterlife. These words were believed to protect and guide the dead on their journey. The Egyptians believed in life after death more strongly than almost any other culture. They thought the body had to be preserved so the soul could use it again. This led to the process of mummification. First, they removed the organs, dried the body with salts, wrapped it in linen, and placed it in a decorated coffin. The mummy was then buried with food, clothes, tools, and treasures for the next life. They believed the soul would face a test in the afterlife. Their heart would be weighed against a feather of truth. If the heart was light, the soul could live forever. If not, it would be eaten by a monster called Amit. To help the soul, they placed magical items and books in the tomb. The Book of the Dead had spells, maps, and instructions. It was like a passport to the afterlife. Even ordinary people believed they could enjoy life after death if they lived a good life and respected the gods. The ancient Egyptians worshipped hundreds of gods, each with a special role. Some important ones included Ra, the sun god, who sailed across the sky each day; Osiris, god of the dead and the underworld; Isis, goddess of magic and healing, wife of Osiris; Anubis, god of mummification, shown with a jackal head; Horus, the sky god with a falcon head, protector of the pharaoh. Their myths told stories about love, revenge, death, and rebirth. These stories explained the seasons, the floods, and the stars. They believed that magic, called Heka, was real and could help with problems in life. Pharaohs were seen as living gods. They had great power, but were also expected to protect the people and honor the gods. Temples were built as homes for the gods. Only priests could enter the inner parts. The people gave offerings and prayed outside. Religion was part of daily life, from farming to family to government. Though ancient Egypt ended over 2,000 years ago, its influence is still strong today. Their knowledge of math, science, engineering, and medicine helped shape modern ideas. Their ideas about law, leadership, and justice live on in many cultures. Their art and architecture inspire buildings, books, films, and fashion. From the mystery of the pyramids to the legend of King Tut, people are still fascinated by Egypt. In 1922, the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb amazed the world. It was full of gold, furniture, jewelry, and a golden mask, all untouched for over 3,000 years. Museums around the world show Egyptian treasures. Tourists travel from everywhere to see the temples, tombs, and monuments. Egypt remains a symbol of beauty, power, and mystery. The story of ancient Egypt is not just about the past. It is a reminder of what people can achieve when they are curious, creative, and connected to something greater. From the Nile's flowing waters to the shining stars, from the quiet tombs to the grand pyramids, the Egyptians lived with purpose and vision. Their secrets are still being discovered, and their message is clear. Knowledge, belief, and imagination can shape the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about ancient Egypt, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories from the ancient world. Join us next time as we explore more civilizations that changed the course of history.